Hi, it's Michelle from Take On Bar Exam Coaching, and welcome back to my YouTube channel where we talk all things bar prep. So, imagine you're walking through this really complex maze and you stumble on a hidden pot of gold. You don't have time to stop and collect it right away, so you mark the spot thinking that you're going to get back to it later. But then you get lost in the maze and you can't find your way back to that treasure. That is YouTube. It's like a rabbit hole full of mazes. And so if you stumbled here today, please go ahead and subscribe. If you don't, you might miss out on some hidden treasures of insight. Like how I did that? Anyway, just saying, please go ahead and subscribe, especially if this content makes good sense to you. All right, so today we're going to work out a focused, practical set of last-minute tips for the final days before the bar exam. This video is made specifically for repeat takers, foreign trained lawyers who are taking the bar exam, and busy professionals, whether that means that you're juggling a full-time job or family responsibilities or pets. I know exactly how challenging this journey can be, and I want you all to know that you are seen. Okay? We're getting closer to the bar exam, and these strategies are here to get you grounded and build on the bar prep that you've already done. I am going to cover a lot, and my hope is that you'll take maybe 2 or 3 of the many ideas that we've discussed and start implementing them right away. The goal is not to make you panic about your strategy to this point. It's to help you enhance the prep that you've already done with some actionable strategies, right? Think of them as little experiments that you can try to make what you've done even better so you can go and pass the bar exam. So grab a cup of coffee or tea, or if you have to, the energy drink, and let's get started. All right, so I'm going to start by talking about mindset and mental preparation. Before you roll your eyes thinking that this is some new agey horse crap, give me a second. We all know that in law, a person's mental state can make all the difference. We're really good at examining other people's mental states. We know that we look in that fact pattern to see if the defendant had the mens rea for the crime or the scienter for fraud, or if the defendant was aware that their actions were substantially certain to lead to a result. Like, we're experts at evaluating other people's mental states, but we often neglect our own. Mindset is all about the way you think and how you approach challenges. It's that inner attitude that helps you to stay focused, calm, and ready to tackle tough situations like the bar exam. And so you already know that you have to condition your mind for the exam, and you do that by regular practice tests and doing essays and multiple choice drills. And that builds strong neural pathways, much like training any other skill, right? That rigorous practice, it not only reinforces your legal knowledge, but it makes sure that your mind is clear and it's ready so that you can grab that information quickly while you're at the bar exam and use it, okay? Similarly, you need the right mindset. Having the right mindset, it's not just a nice to have, it's the foundation for everything that you do. A cluttered, stressed mind can lead to mistakes, just as poor mental state can lead to a bad outcome in a case. And so if your mind is foggy or overwhelmed, you're more likely to miss critical details, something we as lawyers, we know we can't afford to do, right, when we practice or at the bar exam. And so there are so many mindset tools and ideas out there. meditation, mindfulness, right? For example, I particularly love grounding exercises. Grounding exercises are simple, powerful tools that are designed to bring your focus back to the present moment, especially when anxiety or mental clutter threatens to take over. And so the core idea is to anchor your attention on what's happening right now rather than getting lost in racing thoughts or worries about the future, like the next essay or the next multiple choice section. Grounding exercises can help to calm your mind. They can help you to reconnect with your body. They can enhance focus, prevent overanalysis and second guessing, and they can help you to build your resilience. Grounding exercises are a quick, accessible way to clear away mental clutter. So, say you're at the bar exam and you are starting to panic or your mind is wandering. To help you get back to your optimal state, I want you to take a slow, deep breath in, hold it for a moment, and then exhale slowly. And then name 3 things that you can see, 2 things that you can hear, 1 thing that you can feel. So you might see the exam paper in front of you, the clock on the wall, the pen in your hand. You might hear the quiet hum of the ventilation system or the soft rustle of pages, right, as other test takers turn them. You might feel the coolness of the desk beneath your fingertips or the back of the chair supporting you. It's not just a moment of relaxation, it's a way to clear away mental clutter so that your trained intuitive self can shine through when it counts. So next, let's talk about trusting your intuition. You hear this all the time, but let me explain why you should. So our brain operates with 2 systems. System 1, it's fast, it's automatic, it's intuitive. It's your gut reaction. It's built from every practice test, every essay, every drill that you've ever completed. And then on the other hand, you have system 2. It's slower and it's more analytical. Research shows that with extensive practice, many of your decisions shift to system 1, meaning that you can quickly recognize key elements without overanalyzing. And so, experts develop intuitive responses through repeated practice. And as experts in law, over time, our brains build strong neural pathways so that when we face a familiar problem, we can immediately access the right strategy without needing to kind of think through it step by step. Okay? And so, with extensive training, your brain becomes really good at recognizing patterns, and that automatic process is crucial when you're under timed constraints at the bar exam. And so, in practical terms, what that means is all of those hours that you've spent practicing aren't just busy work. They've been creating a mental shortcut that allows you to focus on the most important parts of a question without getting bogged down in unnecessary details. That's why it's so crucial not to second guess yourself unnecessarily at the bar exam. If you find that you're truly stumped on a question, give it your best go, mark it, move on. You can always come back later on if you've got the time. Second guessing every response slows you down, and it also undermines that intuitive reasoning that you've spent so much time developing. And so when you're at the bar exam, I want you to trust your intuition, all right? That way you'll be able to maintain momentum and keep your mental clarity so that you can tackle the rest of the exam. So we're still working through tips. We're going to chat about self-care for a moment. And yes, there are the basics, right? So we want to make sure that you're getting enough sleep, that you're eating well, that you're staying hydrating. But I also want you to think about building in stillness and meditation, all right? Meditation, or simply being still, helps you to slow down and clear your mind, which is especially important when you're juggling complex legal rules and exam stress. So by taking a few minutes to sit quietly, focus on your breath, you're actually reducing mental clutter and you're giving your brain a chance to rest. Regular stillness or meditation can help to improve your attention span and even strengthen areas of your brain responsible for decision making. And so that means that you're training yourself to stay calm and focused so that when you're under pressure, like during the bar exam, you can more easily access the information and the strategies that you spent so long mastering. There are so many apps out there, like Headspace, if you want to try meditation, okay? These moments of stillness can happen at any time during the day, but there's one window that I think can be especially impactful, and it's the final hour before you go to bed. It's what I call your golden hour. Did you know that when you sleep, your brain consolidates what you've learned? Use that to your advantage. And so the golden hour, right? Before you go to bed, do a light review. Don't cram new material. Please don't cram new material. Take a few minutes to meditate or to be still, right? Get yourself ready for bed. And then while you sleep, your brain will consolidate that knowledge that you've been building up through hard work, and it will prepare you for a fresh, focused start tomorrow. And so if you are training your mind just as rigorously as you're training your legal skills and your legal knowledge, you're not only preparing yourself to remember rules with ease, you're also making sure that mentally your performance on test day is at its peak. Next, let's discuss review strategies for these final days. Efficiency is key. Many of you have used traditional flashcards before, but let's talk about active recall. Active recall is a technique that's been shown to be much more effective for long-term retention. And if you've seen any of my previous videos, or if you're on my mailing list, you know I'm going to talk about active recall. I have to, because it's just that good. All right, so active recall means working to retrieve information from memory rather than simply rereading it. So imagine that you're trying to remember a rule without looking at your notes. This effort strengthens your memory connections. And so instead of passively reviewing flashcards, you can record yourself explaining important legal rules. For instance, if you're studying mortgages, record a short video or voice note where you explain the mortgage types in your own words. When you listen back, you're not only testing how you did with your recall, but you're also able to catch a slight hesitation or an incomplete explanation. And this is going to be your signal to rework that part again until it's solid. Another active recall tool is to quiz yourself on the rules, right? That you're trying to understand, that you're trying to remember. So instead of reading about contract remedies and thinking you know it, quiz yourself. What's required for a plaintiff to recover expectation damages? When can a court award reliance damages? What's the difference between expectation damages and consequential damages? What does flowing indirectly from the breach mean? Okay, these are all questions that you can ask about the law to deepen your understanding. So you don't want to just read your outline definition, you want to answer prepared questions. You'll know what you know and you'll know what you don't know if you're able to answer questions. If you found this video early or early-ish in your prep, check out my cue lists. I'll link them down below. My cue lists are an active recall system of pre-built questions that you can drill to help you learn the law. If you're a few days away from the bar exam, please don't rush to buy cue lists, all right? I need you to trust your preparation, okay? It's gotten you this far and it's gonna take you through the bar exam. Let's go to another tip. I want to introduce the final 10. All right. It's another active recall method, and it's simple, but it's powerful, and you can implement it now. Choose 10 critical rules or principles that you have to have locked in before bar exam day. Write them down from memory. No peeking. Then check your work against your rules. Now turn each rule into one clear sentence and do the exercise again. All right. By repeatedly forcing your brain to recall, you're strengthening your memory and your ability to grab these rules with less effort. All right. So those are just some active recall strategies to ensure that you're not just rereading material passively. They will force you to engage deeply with content, making it stick so that when the bar exam does arrive, you can access that knowledge quickly and confidently. Okay, we're going to shift focus over to essay writing. And this is a combination of things that you can do with your essays today, as well as things to remember at the bar exam itself. Okay, so essays, short answers, this is where you're going to demonstrate your legal reasoning and your analysis in writing. Okay, and so the key here is to make sure that you start strong. Before you get to the bar exam, make sure that you've worked out your pacing for your essays. For instance, UBE, 30-minute essays, probably by about the 7-minute mark, you should be writing. For California, you've got a 1-hour essay, and so probably by about the 10-minute mark, you should be writing. But I don't know, like maybe you can start writing in 5 minutes for the UBE. Maybe you need 8 minutes. California, maybe, you can start writing in 8 minutes. Maybe you need 12 minutes. So figure out your pacing before you get to the bar exam. Of course, during the bar exam, you remember that it's anonymous grading. And so you won't write your name on the bar exam. Start practicing that now. Practice writing your applicant number or your examinee number today. All right, that's simple stuff. Practice timed essays. You want to make sure that you set a timer and that you're simulating writing an essay within the exact time frame that you'll have at the bar exam. This way you'll know how much time to allocate to the essay, right? So for things as simple as, by about the 7-minute mark, right? Or the 10-minute mark, I can start writing. I've had some practice with this, right? But bigger than that, setting a timer also tells you, well, if it's a Civ Pro essay, that's going to take me a minute. Whereas if I'm dealing with a contracts essay, well, that may go a little bit faster for me. So by doing timed essays, you gain that kind of knowledge. The other tip about essays is that writing essays is not about hitting some arbitrary word count. So I often hear people say, oh, I've got to hit, a 1,500, a 1,700 word count. And that's not what this is about. Essays are about clearly and thoroughly addressing every issue in a way that's concise and it's well structured, right? That's going to be so much more effective than writing a longer rambling essay. And honestly, all you're going to do is tick off the grader who only has a handful of minutes to work through your essay. All right. So focus on the content. Don't worry about the word count. But I will say that if you look up and it looks like you've written a paragraph or two for an essay, you probably don't have enough. But don't sit there chasing, 1,700 words and thinking that somehow is going to make you safe. All right. So hopefully you've been timing. Today, this is something that you could try. You could grab an essay and set a timer for 10 minutes and pretend you're at the bar exam. Simulate the first 10 minutes. All right. So during this time, read the call of the question. Identify legal relationships. I'll chat about that in a second. Quickly get your outline together, right? If you're on the UBE, you're into your essay. If you're in a California essay, you're still working out your outline maybe at that 10-minute mark, but then you're about to jump into your essay. But this mini practice run, it helps you to set up a rhythm before you get to the bar exam so that you know exactly how you're going to spend those first minutes when you start writing at the actual exam, right? And then by doing those sort of 10-minute sprints, you can simulate your approach within that short window for what you'll do when you hit that writing phase at the bar exam, right? So you're going to have some clarity and you're going to have a strong plan. The other thing that I want you to do before you get to the bar exam is make sure that you're looking at the clock, right? That you're doing time check-ins. I cannot tell you how many times somebody told me, well, I ran out of time because I didn't check the clock in the exam room, right? So this is something that you can start now and do time checks that make sense to you. So maybe it is a 10-minute timer, right? I look up every 10 minutes, right? So a 10, a 20, a 30, right? That's when I'm looking up. So one, it's to make sure that you're not running out of time. And that way you can check your pace, right? Am I on track, right? If you're behind, adjust. Okay. You can also practice using issue tagging in your fact patterns. So as you read a fact pattern, quickly tag each paragraph with the issue or the sub-issue that's in that paragraph. So maybe this paragraph has a formation or mutual mistake issue, maybe statute of frauds, maybe it's breach, maybe it's expectation damages, right? Whatever it is, tag your paragraph. That's going to make sure that you're not missing issues when you start writing. And so you don't need a long tag, right? You can just have a word or two. Or if you have a shorthand, use your shorthand. If you won't get freaked out, consider numbering your facts, right? So say, for instance, you've tagged formation, put a number 1 on formation, and then all formation facts get a number 1. All remedies facts get a number 5, right? You can also do things like underlining or drawing a box or circling facts that go together. So all of my formation facts, I'm going to underline those. All of my statute of frauds facts, I'm going to box those. But again, we want to practice these things before we get to the bar exam so that we're not trying to figure it out at the exam, right? So that you know what your system is before you arrive at the bar exam. All right, so more essay tips. I hope you already know that you should start with the call of the question. This is going to help you to figure out which area of law you're in, or maybe more important than that, it'll help you figure out which areas of law you are not in, and you can put to the back of your mind, right? And bring all of the rules for this particular subject forward, okay? So start with the call of the question. And then you want to figure out the relationship between the parties in the call of the question if you can, okay? So you're asking yourself, well, how are they connected? Is this a landlord and a tenant? Is this a buyer and a seller? Or maybe even just figuring out that this is a plaintiff and that's who the defendant is, right? So if it's a landlord-tenant fact pattern, spotting that relationship right away is going to help you to figure out the landlord's duties. Another essay writing tip, your issue statements. Avoid superficial issue statements that simply repeat the call of the question. So if the call of the question asks if Daniel is liable for negligence, you simply writing the issue is whether Daniel committed negligence is a waste of time. All right. If you're going to write an issue statement, weave in some key facts. So for example, the issue is whether Daniel's conduct fell below the standard of care, given that he was 14 years old when he pushed the store shelf, causing the cans to fall on Polly's head. Okay. That instantly shows the grader that you understand how to link key facts to the legal issue. And it also tells the grader that you know what the deeper issue is. All right. So if I were grading your essay, that would signal to me that this person knows what they're doing, right? And so maybe I don't have to dig as deep in this essay. Maybe I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt because I already think that I'm going to flow through the essay, right? That may not be true when the grader gets into an essay, but that's at least, right, the premise that the grader begins with, and that works in your favor, okay? If you are not using issue statements, then, make sure that you are using clear, structured headings. So for instance, back to a negligence essay, your structure might have headings that say things like duty, standard of care, breach, causation, and damages. Again, that is not only gonna guide your analysis, but it will be easier for the examiner to follow your reasoning as the examiner works her way through your essay. And then analysis, I think the big thing that I want to remind you is that analysis is a journey. So you want to walk the grader through your analysis and connect all of the dots. I think I also want to add on there that I need you to pretend that the grader was like 12 years old, 13 years old, and explain it like you're explaining it to a 12-year-old, to a 13-year-old. Don't assume that the grader, right, that the reader, that they know the law. Don't assume that they understand the legal significance of that fact. Don't assume that they know how that rule impacts that fact. Explain everything to them. Explain why that fact matters given the rule. Explain how that fact changes the outcome, right? And then just make sure that the grader doesn't have questions about how you, future lawyer, would explain your analysis, how you would explain your thought process to a client or another lawyer or a judge, okay? If you can show this lawyering skill, then it means, right, that the grader understands that you belong, right? We can trust this person to be a lawyer in our state. So kind of keep that in mind with your analysis. All right, so I think I'm done talking about essays. All right, where to? So now we're going to move into exam day, right? And the logistics behind exam day. So this is part of your preparation and it can significantly impact your performance. And so nail down your exam day plan. Know what your schedule is inside and out. What are your check-in times? What are your break periods? When does each section begin? Visualize the day and set clear benchmarks in your mind. So some practical tips. If you're staying in a hotel, confirm your reservation, plan your route to the test center, right, well in advance. If you're driving, fill up your gas tank before bar exam day so that you don't have to worry about it. Figure out where you're going to park, how you have to pay for parking, right? Is it by card only? Can you prepay for parking? If you can, please do so. And then grab everything that you're going to take with you to the exam at least the day before, right? Supplies, highlighters, laptop, ID, right? Is it the passport, your driver's license, your admission ticket, personal hygiene products, medication, water? Like grab everything that you need and have like a little go bag, right? So that you're not thinking about this the morning of the bar exam. If you have a tendency to misplace essential items like car keys or your wallet, put them in a prominent spot at home. So maybe that's the kitchen counter or the dining room table. Remember that each jurisdiction has different rules about what you're allowed to bring and what you're not allowed to bring and what your ID requirements are. Leave the things that you're not going to be allowed to bring into the bar exam room at home if possible. If you are balancing multiple responsibilities or you have unique cognitive needs, consider using digital checklists or setting reminders or breaking tasks into subtasks to remove last-minute distractions and to ease stress. Remember to communicate your exam schedule and needs to your support team, right? So that they know not to disturb you or so that they can handle family obligations to keep you distraction-free and to decrease your stress and help you start the bar exam with confidence. Okay, so let's chat about some test-taking tactics and also in exam self-care. So when exam day finally arrives, here's how to pull all of your preparation together, right, and put it into action. For multiple choice questions, remember, trust your initial responses. If you encounter a question that is particularly challenging, mark it, move on. You can always come back if you've got time. Please don't let one difficult question throw off your entire rhythm. For short answers and essays and performance tests, quickly jot down the key points from any of the provided materials and then structure your response using the clear headings that we talked about earlier. This method is going to make sure that your answers are organized and they are comprehensive. Some other things to consider trying. Develop a consistent pre-exam routine. Spend a few minutes visualizing a successful exam. Take several deep, calming breaths and repeat a positive mantra like, I'm ready to do my best. That ritual signals to your brain to shift, right, into a state of focus. You can also try anchoring techniques. So maybe before you start the next section, you take 3 breaths, or you tap the table 3 times to signal to your brain that you're ready to go. Don't tap the table so hard that you disturb your neighbor, okay? Maybe I should say you brush the table 3 times, right? Gently brush the table 3 times to signal to your brain that you're ready to go. That's something that you can practice now. If in these days leading up to the bar exam, you are still studying, instead of studying one subject in isolation, mix up your practice a little bit, right? So that's called interleaving, because you're mixing things up. When you're finished, try explaining that complex legal concept in simple language as if you were teaching somebody else. Another tactic, if you're still studying, is to simulate stress. Oh my gosh. So study with mild distractions, okay? You're at the bar exam. People are going to be getting up, right, for breaks. People are going to shuffle paper. They're going to, move their chair. So simulate a little bit of that, right? Maybe it's go to the coffee shop and do a little bit of studying and concentrate on not getting yourself distracted. So I'm taking a deep breath in with you. And then we're all going to exhale together. All right, because we've reached the end of the tips, right? Tips, but little experiments to enhance what you've already been doing. I'd love to hear from you. What challenges have you faced? Are you facing as a repeat taker or a foreign trained lawyer or a busy professional, right? Go ahead and share those experiences or even your own tips down in the comments, because your insights could be really valuable to someone else who's on this journey. If you found these tips helpful, if you found one tip helpful, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so that you won't miss our upcoming live Q&A sessions and more targeted bar exam advice. And don't forget to share this video with bar exam takers who you think might benefit from these strategies. I also want you to remember, you are not starting from scratch. You're building on years of experience, and that experience is your strength. Stay focused, take care of yourself, trust the process, trust your preparation, and good luck at the bar exam. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, study smart and take good care of yourself. Bye.